Show. I'm St. Jimmy.
I'm DVD. I just got a text
Master
message.
Thanks for joining us again, Master Zed.
No problem.
Our fake sponsor this week is Edible Books. Snack while you read. Just don't get more hungry than the pace at which you read.
I'm just afraid I'll get heartburn if I'm reading from edible books while I'm in bed.
Every third page is made out of Tums.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
No, you have to make the cover. I
Or
think,
they're-
out of the
The cover, yeah, you just break off a piece of
You just take a bite out of the cover. Thanks
That
for the
visual
sound
brought
effect.
to you by DVD. If you're watching YouTube, if you're not, then that was a sound effect.
So I had to retire my motorcycle, Master
What?
Zed. Yep.
Me too.
You had bald tires also?
No, my tires are in good condition. I have a non-working engine. Well, it runs. It just sounds like you left a wrench or something inside.
Oh. Yeah, I just got new tires today, so it's much better.
Oh, I guess I could talk about.
Oh, so you didn't retire it.
I retired it.
You retired it.
Oh, you retired it. Gotcha. Sorry, I was looking at your show notes and it says retirement.
I know. You're
It's
like
a
the
pun.
fifth person I've done that
It's
joke
a
to.
pun. I like puns.
I got the guys at work. I got Rachel. I got DVD last night.
Did you?
Yeah, when I told you I wasn't riding with you
Oh,
because I had to retire my motorcycle.
I just heard it as you were gonna put your tires on your
Oh.
motorcycle.
Okay.
Because yeah.
Well, be careful on the new rubber. They're very slippery when new.
Yeah, I rode it here today and it felt fine.
Oh,
I
car tires aren't that way.
Two friends that have laid their bikes down for the first time
With new tires.
day after they got new tires, just because they're kind of slick.
Oh, well, I don't ride.
So
I don't ride that aggressively, so. But the tires were showing some of the threads.
I one time was changing my
spots.
I was putting my snow tires on one time on my old car, and getting the ones I had on there, not the snow tire ones. I cut my hand on the belt or the metal coming through.
Nice. Yeah, that's a bad sign.
It's time to get new tires, I think.
Yeah, I had somebody that was behind me come over when we parked at work the other day, last week, I guess. And was like, you've got some spots on your tire that are showing through. You might need to get that replaced. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. So I just got them, So apparently, even though my motorcycle is a very common
They don't go through tires though.
bike,
Probably.
and they've been using the same size tires for decades. They don't make them in the sizes anymore that I needed, or at least the shop I went through couldn't find a matched set.
What?
Like the most common tire is like a Dunlop D404, and they didn't make them in the sizes for my bike anymore. It's like, because I was trying to find them online, and I couldn't. That's why I called a shop, and they couldn't find them either. And they
probably came out with like a new series of that tire because they do that.
I don't know, but they couldn't find any. So I was just like, well, I don't care if the front and back are the same brand, I guess. If you can't find any. Because they were looking at different brands, and they'd finally given up. And then I told him it was okay to have different tires, I guess. And then he's like, oh, here's a set from Pirelli. So I have Pirelli tires now. They look nice.
Nice. You have to buy two of them, right?
Just a front and a rear.
You get snow tires for it?
No, although
You probably make them, don't they?
some
ice spikes?
probably, but it doesn't warrant where we live. That's not warranted.
That's true.
I did have to ride on icy road just to the end of my block one morning, but
Well, we're in the process of adding another car to our stable of cars.
oh yeah,
One for the children's.
the
Hopefully to
chillins.
drive, if they can get their licenses, which we're hoping the purchase of this car will warrant that or instigate that, because it'll be a small hatchback automatic transmission car.
Easy to
It'll
drive.
be really easy to drive with power steering.
Nice.
I forgot how Scions handle with power steering. They turn really sharp but really quick, but I feel a little disconnected from the road with power steering. I don't know, I get a more direct feel with the way my cars now. But we're looking at a XD as opposed to my XB.
Little one.
Yeah, although it has a bigger engine than my car.
Uh-oh.
But it's not automatic, so it kind of robs itself of horsepower.
Hmm.
Spinning more horsepower, just spinning through fluid, I guess. So anyways, we're looking at one of those.
Cool.
I got to drive a new car. Oh, sorry, I kicked my mic stand. Our car. So did I tell you about the shock absorber getting blown out on our new car?
No.
So when I got back from a work trip in May, I got in our car, we're driving it, and we hit a bump, and it kind of made a rattly sound. And I was like, what the heck is that? When did that show up? And Charlie was like, oh, I started making that while you were gone. And we were due for an oil change anyway, so we took it into the shop and told them about it. And they said our shock is blown on the back driver's side. And it has electronically controlled suspension, so the shock absorber is part of that system. And our car's new enough that they don't make spare parts for that yet.
Of course not.
And so they had to put in a request to Mercedes to get that part, and it was gonna went into a tooling order for when that we would get one when they made a group of those parts.
Wow.
So until they're just supposed to ride with a broken shock.
Yeah, so I asked the guy, I was like, okay, nothing's getting damaged or anything, right? And he said, yeah, we checked it out. He's like, nothing's, it's not like anything's contacting anything else. Nothing's going to get damaged. It's not going to hurt the car. It's not a safety issue. He's like, if it's too uncomfortable to drive, we'll give you a loaner until it comes in.
Wow.
But I didn't want to drive a loaner for who knows how long,
Months.
which is luckily.
It'd probably just be a BMW. You don't want to step down.
Well, we have an AMG, so I don't want to drive a really slow car when I can drive my fast car.
Like I said, with BMW.
Yeah. So the part came in today, finally, and so we dropped it off tonight after work, and the guy was like, so do you want a car or an SUV? And we're like, I don't know, we've never driven one of the SUVs before. Because usually the loaner car they give you is just like a little C-Class. It's the cheapest Mercedes that they have. Little sedan, and it's kind of slow and it's pretty comfortable, but just a car. It's still nice. It's Mercedes, but it's like, do you want a car or an SUV? So I'm like, oh, we haven't had an SUV before, and we looked, and there was like a mid-size SUV, like a RAV4 size one sitting there. He's like, okay, cool. I'll go bring it around for you. And I'm starting to get my stuff out of our car, and I see this massive white blur go by. I'm like, what the heck was that? And the guy gets out. He's like, okay, here you go. And it's like the
Were they big ones?
GLS 450.
Oh, those are cool, dude.
The third row seat.
Well,
it's like a full size SUV. So it's like, holy crap!
Party in the car.
What was that?
Party in the car.
Yeah, no, I texted all my friends. I took a picture of it and texted some of my friends. It was like, "Okay, where are we going on a joyride? Because I can fit like 8 people back here." But we haven't really. So we drove it around and went to dinner and stuff, and then went home. So I haven't really played with it. But the thing's massive. When you put it in reverse, it has the side, front, and rear cameras. So it does like the 360 top-down view thing,
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
and then it has a regular backup camera like.
It's like Grand Theft Auto, but real life. Which view do you want?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do you have a little drone that goes
Oh.
behind you so you can
That
drive
would
your
be
car
cool.
from behind you?
Well, and then we haven't played with it. There was like some buttons we were trying to play with, but I couldn't really figure out how they worked. But I did figure out that it has you can adjust the ride height. So I was playing with that a little bit. So we were just sitting in a parking lot, and I pushed the button, and I'm like, "Oh, we're moving up, we're moving up." And on the center console it says rising, and then pushed a different button. It says lowering.
That's cool.
But it's very nice, and yeah, I looked up. It was like, oh, these, and it has like all the options, like the courtesy light that shines down from the, instead of when you open your door, there's a light that shines from the bottom of the mirror on the ground, so you can see outside the door,
Oh, cool.
and it's a big Mercedes logo, like 2 foot in diameter.
That's
I'm like, oh, that's an option.
extravagant much?
This thing is like completely optioned out for a loaner car.
Yeah.
And so we started playing with it, and I built like, oh, I think I have this option, and filled it out. It's like almost an $80,000 car.
Whoa.
We want to take care of you guys. You guys buy expensive cars. You expect expensive taste.
Well, and I think they felt a little bad about me having to wait for a part for 2 months.
Yeah.
I was feeling bad.
Yeah.
I was starting to get like
Depressed.
everyone will. Well, the guys at the dealership, I can tell they're doing everything they can, but they
Right.
don't really have much control over it. But I was starting to get like, okay, who corporate wide do I need to start bugging to try to get this moving?
Yeah, if it was a Tesla, you could just tweet Elon Musk and he'd fix it for you.
Yeah,
So,
I see that. I follow him, so I see his. Someone will be like, "Hey, have you thought about doing this?" He's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll push that out in a couple months."
so Monday was a holiday, and so that's usually when I have good car deals. So we decided, well, let's pull a trigger. Let's go look around, see if we can find an inexpensive, maybe slightly dented used car. It is really hard to find a less than $7,000 used car unless you're buying from an individual, because dealers don't want to deal with it.
Right.
They don't want to have a bad-looking car sitting on their lot. And so we went several places. Nobody had anything good to look at. We finally went to this one that's it's like a big bend in the road on the way home from work, and it's right there off the highway. So you have to drive past it a couple miles to come back the other direction because it's on a divided highway. So we pull in there, and we're like, okay, let's get out and look at some stuff. So there was a first car we looked at. There was a 93 town car, this big, huge boat of a car,
Nice.
which my son wanted the big boat, and it was only like $2,000, and it was like perfect condition. It's like this thing was garaged by a granny.
Wow.
And the trunk was enormous. The guy joked, he's like, "Hey, just take the trunk lid off and you have a truck." Which I think was almost as big as our truck, footprint wise. We decided, well, this is probably too big to park at the high school, and they have to pass a driving test in it, so they got to do parallel parking.
Yeah.
And it's a big old V8,
Yeah,
400
so it's like
cubic
11
inch.
miles per gallon.
It actually wasn't that bad. I looked it up. It was like 16 on the highway,
Oh, that's what my pickup.
maybe like 10
My
in the
pickup
city.
gets about 17 now.
So I looked over and there was this XD sitting there, and it was a little more than we wanted to spend. But we started thinking about it. I was like, really, if we finance that, the payments would be really cheap,
Yeah.
like $120. So we asked him, well, if we look at this one, so we get in the car. My wife looks in the back. She's like, there's like no legroom. The back seats are touching the front seats. So I was like, you know what? I think I remember the options of this because I'm going to sign on fanatic, as some might say. So I hop out and open the back door, and sure enough, there's a button you pull up on the top, like you lower the seat.
Mm-hmm.
And I grabbed the wrong one at first, and it changed the angle of the back. Grabbed the other one, sure enough, it's on sliders.
Oh.
So if you need this extra storage space in the boot, you just slide it forward.
That is cool. I didn't know they did that.
It also reclines slightly if you want to have your seat back a little bit in the back.
That's cool.
It's pretty sweet. Like I said, it's an automatic. My wife was making fun of it's got an iPod connection.
Uh-huh.
She's like, wow, this is an old iPod. It's like, well, it's a 2008. So it's like a 9-year-old iPod is what you took to that.
Yeah.
It has like the, what's it called, auxiliary input.
Mm-hmm.
You just plug an auxiliary cord right into the car.
Nice.
It's got cruise control. Couldn't figure out how to get it to work. But we're on our test drive, and we're driving down the highway. Oh, it was empty. So the guy's like, here's $20. Do you mind putting gas in it? So we stopped by and put gas in it.
$5 of gas.
I should have. I put all 20 in. I'm a responsible, trustworthy adult. But as I was pulling the drive, it seemed like it was like sputtering a little bit. So my wife's like, well, and I noticed then the check engine light was on. I was like, oh, well, check engine light's on. Maybe this is the car we want. She's like, well, let's just drive it to AutoZone and have them read the code. So we drove it over to AutoZone. Guy comes out, reads the code. He's like, well, it's misfiring on 1 and 4 or 1 and 3, and then other general misfires. So like, oh, okay. So we drove it back to the dealership. Told him, hey, the car had check engine light on. He's like, oh, well, the battery did die on it, and we had check engine light came on for a minute, and but then it cleared itself. So he's like, well, I'll have my mechanic look at it. We'll get back to you on it. I was like, okay. I thought if something I could fix, I might be able to talk him down in price and then
well, if you're having charging issues, that can cause misfires.
Which, yeah, he said that. The guy at AutoZone said it might be one of the ignition packs. And so we tried coil. Coil. There you go. We swapped those around. He's like, that seemed to have a weird effect. Like it didn't really make a difference. So he said, I'll have my mechanic look at it. So I talked to him on the phone the next day. He's like, I actually sent my mechanic home with the car. He drove it home. And he's like, he came back. He's like, yeah, on the way home, in fact, it actually died on me at a red light once. It got low enough that it died. He's like, yeah, it died on me too. So once it did that to him on the way home, he tore into it that night. It was a dirty mass airflow sensor.
Oh.
So he cleaned that really good. It's like it drove like a brand new car on the way back to the dealership. So I was like, okay, cool. So we'll buy that. It's a Scion. I know the parts are similar to my cars, I'm sure.
So you said you might end up with it.
Well, we're waiting because you can't finance a used car. It's less than $5,000.
Oh.
So we're getting a personal line of credit with
Gotcha.
a bank that the guy at the dealership knows the branch manager of a bank.
Oh.
So he's working with us.
Cool. Well, that'll be fun.
Yeah, I like Scion, so it'll be fun to have that. Kids are excited to have a car.
Yeah, I had to buy my own first car.
I didn't.
I spent
got my first car
$200 on
for
it.
my 15th birthday.
Oh.
But it had the windows shot out and
Oh yeah,
didn't really run very well.
That's the best
DVD
time.
rode with me because I just had my learner's permit. We had to drive it 45 minutes home in November
With no windows. Nice.
Pretty sure it was, and it was at night.
Of course.
So it was like 30 degrees.
That's like when my windshield wiper stopped working in a blizzard. So I was scraping the window out with the window down. I was reaching out, scraping it occasionally. That was my yourself.
Misfire thing reminds me. One of my friends, I had told him way back. We were just BSing. I told him about Dad's Dodge that he had because my friend has a pretty similar one. About it started misfiring, and he tracked out. He tried to figure out what it was. Couldn't figure it out. And he finally figured out that it was just one of the wires was not snapped into the like little clip, and it being not in place was enough. There's like enough electrical interference for it to mess up the spark. So I told my friend Ben that like years ago. Well, he bought a new pickup, and it's the same engine as the current pickup he has. It's a Dodge V8, whatever. And he said that the guy was trying to get rid of it because it didn't run very good. And so he drove to go. He got his dad, I think, with him, and he was going to buy it regardless because he wanted to kind of soup up the engine anyway.
Right.
And he figured between the two pickups, he would have a working engine. And so they drove up with the trailer in case it was actually not running. But he also brought spark plug wires. And he said it was when he popped it open, the hood, after they did the deal for a non running truck. I think they puttered it around the corner, and then he popped the hood, and the spark plug wires were out of place, and he put them back in place, and it ran fine.
That's
Nice.
That's awesome.
And
That'd be like dishonest if I like took the car on a test drive, did something that made it run horrible, and then talked him way down the price. Well, I'll take it off your hands, but
It's got major engine problems.
yeah, it's gonna have to get a new engine. So like you have
and
to
you just like switch the plug wires back to the right cylinders.
well, that's why, like they did with that Scion, is they had their mechanic look
Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't let you
No.
just drive off with it. Yeah.
But the guys there's a couple guys that run this dealership we're going through, and they're all the old used car managers for a bunch of the big car lots around town. It's like, so he knows all the guys everywhere. So they don't get their cars from auction. They don't buy any auction cars. The ones that they aren't offered or they don't take, then go to auction. So other dealerships get those ones. Like, so I've noticed driving past them, they always have nice.
So one
nice
on the
looking
north
used car.
side.
Yeah.
I know.
So when you're coming like home, right before you get to the 40-mile-an-hour zone, it's right on the right.
Yeah. Okay.
Got like trucks out there all the
Usually
time.
have trucks. Yeah.
I think Truck and
I've
Auto
thought about
Sports.
stopping in there before.
That's really nice, and they got good vehicles.
Cool.
Yeah. So hopefully
did I give you an update on my motorcycle last week?
No.
you said something about it, like the. I don't know what you said.
So we got a used head for it that came with camshafts. And it had the same, what looked like cracks in the camshaft holders as the one that on mine. I opened it up.
So it's a common problem.
So they're just casting.
So I think it is, even though
it's not really cracked. It's just a casting.
Oh, it could
be
mark or something.
I don't know. So we were like, well, we'll put the different head on there with different camshafts in case there's something, the whole package. If it is in the valve train, we should at least make a difference.
Yeah.
Put it on there, fired it up, which it started right up, but
still making that.
Still making some noise, and it had gotten worse just in the couple times I started it. When you listened to it, it was sounding worse.
So it's got to be down in the
lower part,
the piston rod or something.
Yeah. So there's so much going on. Like it's a 2-piece block.
Yeah.
And there's I don't know. So you can get just an entire engine for. Well, it's like engine and transmission. The whole thing is like $800 to $1,000.
That's not bad.
On eBay, and they guarantee, it's like a 30-day warranty.
Right.
So I think that's what I'm gonna do.
So you take it to track day in that 30 days.
Yeah.
Make sure you get all the demons out.
Shake it out.
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, you got to consider how much time you're going to put into it and what your time is worth.
Yeah.
Well, I figure if I had a shop tear into it,
yeah, you're gonna
figure out what exactly is wrong with it.
Just think, now you've got 2 heads and camshafts you can sell.
$3,000.
Recoup some of the cost by selling your 2
Yeah.
heads and camshafts.
You
because they're they're good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know they're good.
Right.
That's true.
They were sold, the one I bought wasn't sold as like being defect free.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, this came off of a bike. Here's a bunch of pictures of it. How $150 or $130, I think, for the head and camshafts. Which to buy a new head is $800 just by itself to buy a new one.
Wow.
So 120, $30 seemed like a pretty good gamble.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Not right now. $1,000. I'm gonna have to wait a while, maybe Christmas time. But
Well,
it'll be fun at least to see what that's like.
So
The first step in the instructions to remove the head was to take the engine out, which I didn't do. But it's like, oh, well, it can't be too hard then.
Yeah.
So you have some problem with some acronyms, it looks like.
I do. It was bugging me. There's a couple podcasts that have some younger people on it, and then Charlie's nephew said something that made me realize how much I dislike when people take an acronym and just say it like it's a word. So the one that gets me is
You could not survive where we
NES
work.
and SNES.
SNES?
oh, for the
Someone said
Nintendo.
SNES?
Super Nintendo. Yes, that was listening to the Tested podcast.
Oh, they were saying NES?
They're talking about they have the mini.
The mini NES.
Yes, so there's the mini NES that came out, and they're coming out with the mini Super Nintendo.
Were they
Yeah,
doing it
the
ironically?
No, that's just they just refer to it as the NES and SNES.
Oh my gosh. Do they not know what that stands for?
Oh, they do. And when I say they're young, they're not young. They're my age.
Okay.
Young.
So whippersnappers.
They're not like 20-year-olds.
Like barely not
Never.
teenagers.
These are guys that played with the original system when they were kids. Like,
Okay.
But it made me realize that in Star Wars, AT-AT, ATST, it's not an AT-AT or a what?
Atst.
Well, as a kid, we did call it an AT-AT, but that's because we didn't know. I mean, you're just a kid. You're reading the name placard.
Yeah. I don't remember.
Like,
I remember always calling it an AT-AT.
when we got like action figures for Star Wars, I don't think we even looked at the box. We just ripped into it, pulled the action figure out, and knows where the box went. So we got this carrier, Darth Vader carrier, with all the characters' names on stickers you can put in. We didn't know what the characters' names were. Like we had Bosk.
Bosk guy.
Yeah, we didn't know which character was Bosk because it wasn't in the movie yet.
Because they're not ever named in the movie.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
Because they never say AT-AT in the movie either, or ATST. I don't think.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Now I got to
I think
watch
it's
them
only
to make sure.
Yeah, I'm
They
going to
do.
watch all of them. But I think it's probably just in the toys.
But when I was a kid that had toys, they didn't have ATST toys at the same time. Like I had a friend Keith that lived next door to us that had an AT-AT toy. It was awesome. It was big, or it seemed big. It's not as big as I was thinking. I was
It was
6.
huge.
It was ginormous. It's like there's a place in town that actually has a G.I. Joe aircraft carrier.
Oh, cool.
I want it.
What number is on the deck?
I don't remember.
Oh.
Like 99 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, knowing about aircraft carriers is interesting because we were watching a show and they were talking about they were on the Enterprise, but then it shows a picture of the deck and it says 74. Like, that's not the Enterprise, that's the Stennis.
Yep.
Uh,
Wah.
Yeah. Anyway.
But the Red October is nothing like the real Red October.
I was looking for a show to watch the other night, and I found some like crime drama movie, military crime drama movie from like the 80s that I hadn't heard of before. So I looked it up on IMDb and ended up reading through the trivia and goofs.
Oh,
and
I like doing
95% of the goofs were like with one of like the ribbons on the guy's military uniform. They're like, there's no way he could have gotten that unless like he had been in this specific unit at some point and then transferred into the one, and like most people don't make that transfer.
Maybe that character did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fictional character. Who's to say he didn't do that?
Who's to say it's not the alternate reality where all the ribbons are just different? That's the only thing different.
Yeah.
Well, they're
say that
assuming
there's,
it's-
like
That and there's no
completely different
sliced
sets
bread.
of ribbons between the dress uniform and his other uniform that he wore or whatever. They're like, yeah, they just didn't get that right.
Right. It's this really small percentage of people that would even notice something like that, and they don't care about those people apparently.
Right.
Well, it's like
So
noticing
if you
things
are
about
making a
cars.
military show, I don't know.
When they screw up stuff about cars, it's worse because more people know
like
about cars.
Transformers. What's her name's talking about?
Oh, yeah, double pumper carburetors and.
What are you talking about? You know what you're talking about?
Or my favorite is when they jump in the car and it starts moving while the starter sound is being, like the Foley artist just throws in the sound of a starter.
Every time a car takes off from the stop of the movie, it squeals tires.
Yeah.
Even if it's on gravel.
Yeah.
Or turns a corner.
Yes.
Yes.
Worst
Unless you're in a
suspension cars
parking
ever.
garage, your tires aren't going to squeal at 4 miles.
They shouldn't.
Well, and there was this, I think it was a stupid, like, My Favorite Martian movie, and they had to get some car part to do something in the spaceship, and he pulls this alternator out of a car, and I recognize the alternator, and I was like, that is not the alternator that goes on that car, but nobody
But
know
know
that
that alternator shop
unless you've worked on it. It was like an old Chrysler alternator from like the 70s, and it was, they pulled it out of like a 1990s Ford or something, and I'm like, all it does is put out 12 volts DC. Your spaceship wouldn't work without that.
Well, there's this one show where these aliens came and invaded the Earth. It's not even aliens. I mean, come on. What a goof on that movie.
Well, it's
I'll
funny.
talk about it in my consumption later, but we watched the Kong Skull Island.
Oh, yeah, I
yeah.
love that movie.
And when we were watching it, there was a couple things that I was just like, what the heck? Like, really? Because it shows the top deck of the boat when they're going there. There's like 5 helicopters on it or something.
There's like,
And then the next,
30?
when they're flying off of when it shows the helicopters, like 15 helicopters.
Yeah.
they didn't probably show all the boats.
Well, that's what I was like, okay, there was probably a second boat, or maybe they had
The whole fleet.
some under the deck or something, some way to move them. And then later on, when anytime something would come up that we were like, really? We just got in the habit of Charlie and I would just look at each other and be like, there's a giant monkey.
I know.
And it's like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
okay.
anything else that
Yeah.
seems unrealistic, realistic. Because if there's a giant monkey, then
Yeah.
Right.
Why
They're
Go
not,
for it.
it's not like based on a true story.
yeah. Well, then
What?
we were talking about that on the Tested podcast today about that the director of Kong Skull Island got together with the Honest Trailer YouTube guy
Oh,
to make the Honest Trailer for that movie
nice.
because he wanted, like, he's like, no one's a bigger critic than the director of the movie. Like,
Right.
you're your own biggest critic and stuff. And he was talking about how, like, I think it was the number of helicopters in particular. He calls out it's like, there's more helicopters under the deck of the ship.
Mhm.
Come on. He's like, we needed more than 5 helicopters.
Right.
Otherwise, it wouldn't set up the scene
Should have had a
for
bigger
Kong
boat.
to fight.
Or
So,
more boats. You could have a boat off camera.
That's what I.
The camera's got to be on something that he's filming outside the boat.
Well, that's what I just assumed was that there was multiple boats, but
I just thought it was funny that the director himself had retconned the scene that I.
and why did he make it that way? Oh,
Because you
He's
got to
like,
do things for the
you
sake
need a
of the
bunch
movie.
of helicopters for him to fight. That's what you want to see. You want to see helicopters in King Kong.
Yeah.
You only have 4 helicopters. It's not a very good scene.
I would
So,
rather
of course I
send
put 4
biplanes, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Blimps, dirigibles.
They need to remake Rampage. When are they going to make that movie?
They're going to. This was in the same universe as the Godzilla movie, so now they just need.
So they're going to make another movie and call it Rampage. And
Yeah. That'll be
going.
Was Rampage on NES?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, that might be the next game I buy.
I also had it on PS1. In fact,
Yeah,
I still have the disc,
I think I had to.
but it won't work on my PS2 for some reason.
Or your PS3.
Well, it definitely won't work on PS3, but I was hoping it would work on my PS2 because that would be fun for my.
If I set my PS1 on my PS4, it will work on my PS4.
Ooh, I
Technically.
can get Rampage for $10 on eBay.
Cool.
Nice.
It's fun.
It's a 2-player game too. That's the important thing.
So where we
Yeah.
work, there's a lot of acronyms, and I like to mispronounce them compared to what other people pronounce them.
Oh, they go overboard with acronyms.
Yeah, you guys are an acronym
Demon
heavy
2.
industry.
Demon 2. In a world where software is plagued with demons. There's a sequel, Demon 2. Anyway, should we go on to talk about more movies with Stephen King movies?
Yeah, let's do some nerdiculture.
All right.
So I found this list on Vulture.com. Vulture, devouring culture.
Is that a vulture?
Sure.
I don't know. What does a vulture sound like?
Whatever eating dead meat sounds like.
Yeah, I guess.
Here, open that jar. We'll find out.
So we're it's every Stephen King movie ranked from worst to best.
It's just cool to have all
And
a listing
apparently
of all of
there's
his movies.
40 of them. And a lot of these I haven't even heard of. Or some of them I've read the book but not seen the movie. I don't know that there's any of the movies that I've seen that I haven't read the book, though. So we'll go through them. Maximum Overdrive, I have neither read the book nor even heard of
I've
the
heard of
movie.
it.
It's from the
I've heard
80s.
of it.
I
I think
like
it comes up sometimes when you look for Mad Max.
I like this quote from Stephen King himself. It says, "I was coked out of my mind all through its production, and I really don't know what I was doing." At least he's honest.
The Mangler, 1995. Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
All right, Graveyard Shift.
I've heard of that one.
I've heard of it.
I think I've seen it. These are movies I'd go watch at my friend Jeremy's house.
I've heard of the book. I didn't know they made a movie. Riding the Bullet. Never heard of it.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Sleepwalkers. So these are like the worst 5 so far in their list.
Are people getting attacked by sleepwalkers?
I don't know, but I haven't heard of it. So, how about Silver Bullet?
Wait, the last one, it says it had cameos by a bunch of famous people, including Mark Hamill
Oh,
and Ron Perlman.
Huh. Interesting.
I have to go watch it.
Yeah,
Good luck
wonder-
finding it.
yeah. I was gonna say, I wonder
Aw.
where you can find it. How about Silver Bullet?
I've seen the Silver Bullet when I was a kid. I remember it being scary. It was well done, but it probably doesn't stand up because it's 1985.
Cell. So I've read the book Cell, and I know you have feelings about the ending.
Yeah, they just stopped the book.
But have you seen the movie with John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson?
I didn't know there was one.
I didn't know they'd made a movie either. Apparently, it came out last
Don't
year.
close this tab when you're done. I'm going to go try to find all these movies.
Okay,
That's a good challenge. Who can
Well,
finish all the movies
and I
first?
put a link to it in the show notes.
Who can finish all of these movies first?
Marathon,
And you
40
can't-
movies.
And you can't fall asleep during one of them.
Okay, I have. Oh, here's one I've seen the movie, but no, I did read the book, so I've done both. Dolan's Cadillac. This has the guy from Star Trek in it.
Christian Slater,
Yes, that guy. It's pretty good.
a documentary.
No,
It's not
Oh,
a documentary.
It says this is not a documentary. I misread that.
it's pretty good. I think it was a short story, but
It was.
Made a good movie.
Wait, never mind.
Cat's Eye. Never heard of it.
You ever heard of the Cat's Eye? That's a group of short stories are kind of combined. There's a part where the guy has to walk around the outside of a high-rise building, and he has birds attacking him. There's a part where there's a little girl there's like a troll that comes out and is like stealing her breath while she's sleeping. There's a cat that's through all of this.
Oh, sounds
That's
like
good.
that.
That should be higher than 32.
Sounds like that Christmas horror
Oh.
anthology I watched with
Yeah, it was Drew Barrymore was a little girl getting her breath stolen.
Bill Shatner. Needful Things. I've heard of, haven't seen or read.
I've read the book. The book's good. I didn't know they made a movie out of it. But it might be worth watching if it's got Ed Harris.
It's from 1993. So
That's my wheelhouse for movies. I was in high school.
Creepshow 2.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Never heard of it. The Night Flyer. Sounds familiar.
Wait, I have seen Creepshow 2.
Really?
Yes. The description about the raft part.
Huh.
Yeah. There's kids in a lake on like a floating dock. And they slowly get picked off by something in the water.
Nice. The Night Flyer. Haven't heard of.
Nope.
Firestarter.
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore, 1984.
I think I've seen parts of that, not all of it.
I'm trying to remember if I've read the book.
But I get that mixed up with Carrie.
Yeah, that's... I know I've read Carrie, but... Okay, number 27, Dreamcatcher. I've seen the movie and read the book.
Is that good?
Yeah, I liked it.
Is it like a horror or is it action?
Kind of. It's got Morgan Freeman in it, I think.
Really? Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Thomas Jane? And Timothy Olyphant?
Yeah, Thomas Jane and Timothy Olyphant. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, and does it say?
It's 2003, so
Seems
it's
like it had Donnie Wahlberg in it or something.
nice. I like Donnie Wahlberg.
I don't remember.
It did have Donnie Wahlberg
Did it?
in
Okay.
Yep.
He played
It had a bunch of people.
Douglas or whatever his name was.
Duddits.
Duddits. Yeah, you should watch it.
All right, I'll check it out.
You also have Damian Lewis.
It's not that scary. It's just more like gory, kind of.
All right.
All right, The Dark Tower. So
I
read
loved
the
it.
Dark Tower series a couple times. I haven't seen the
I
movie
liked them
yet.
both.
They put it at 26th.
I thought they captured the Dark Tower series pretty well.
Yeah, I think this list is... They've got this behind Pet Cemetery, which maybe when Pet Cemetery came out it was good, but I've seen parts of it and it's pretty... Even for, like, Pet Cemetery came out in 89, it feels older than that. Like, the pacing and stuff is not good from what I saw. But so Pet Cemetery, I don't
I've
think
seen that one.
I've seen the whole thing or read the book.
I have not read the book.
The Dark Half, I've
Never heard of it.
Thinner I've heard of, but have never
That's about the guy that,
seen it.
no matter how much
Or
he
read
eats,
it.
it keeps on getting thinner and thinner.
I think he's cursed by, what are those people called? Gypsy?
Yeah.
Mr. Pold has mentioned this to me.
Oh, okay.
It's
So it's like big, but opposite.
One of, yeah. It's one of, it says it's one of his Richard Bachman books. So
going back to the Dark Tower.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm I think like 60% of the way through the first one.
The book?
The first book.
Okay. The Gunslinger.
Does it get more?
Yes.
I don't know. It seems really slow.
It gets
I
more.
guess.
Well, I recommend you try the second book.
The way you said you're halfway through the Gunslinger?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would keep push through. That's
Yeah. I would definitely at least try the second book.
you gotta get to Wolves of Kala. That's the best one.
The fifth one is the best one. It kind of goes down after that. The third one is really good. The fourth one is kind of a totally separate story. It's like a flashback that
Flashback novel.
it pretty much the whole
Is that the one in the West? What
when he's it goes back to when he's a teenager
oh,
and they find out about this.
wasn't it like the castle? They're teaching me with it. I don't remember. Never mind. I need to reread it. Apparently,
Yeah, I mean it's good, but it kind of seems weird to go back and have a whole book about when he was a teenager. But it's good. I mean,
he wrote them over such.
it's a good story in and of itself.
I'm
so-
not going to judge an author for getting bored and diverging from
Yeah,
and exploring.
yeah. I mean, and it's a good story. It just didn't really fit with the flow of the whole thing. But
So have you guys seen the movie?
I haven't.
I've seen the movie. Polt and I went and saw it. He saw it twice.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Okay.
If you get through the Gunslinger, you'd probably enjoy the movie.
Okay, that's what I figured.
So-
But I was like, from what I've heard of the movie and reading the book now, I'm like, well, if the movie is like the book, I could see why people might think it's more like it's disappointing or it's not as
Well, there's certain characters that don't show up
actionable.
until through the book series later, and they don't have all the characters that I wanted to see in
Here's
the
the
movie.
here's the thing. It's not really.
It's not a make of the
Right.
movie, of the
It's
book.
not a make of the book. It's
like a
it's like an
remake
alternate
of
timeline of that same character.
Right, because the books kind of bring up that fact that there's kind of
So here's a big spoiler warning. It doesn't really affect
no.
the
it shouldn't.
books, but at the end of the last book, he gets
poetry. He's been dead the whole
no
time.
the tower. He gets
Riker wakes up and
he gets to the tower and it sends him back to the beginning of the Gunslinger, and he doesn't remember having done anything past that. And it's basically like, well, you didn't learn what you needed to learn, so I'm going to make you do it again, and I'm going to give you a slightly different starting parameter to see if this time you know.
which is really a brilliant ploy
So
in the
the-
book to set up movies later.
So the movie is
So-
basically
yeah.
his second, or it kind of
Some-
intimates that he's been through
Doing it, yeah, a
multiple
bunch.
times already. So
So it's like a big Groundhog Day, but with guns,
that spans a
Right.
long time period.
lifetimes.
That's
Okay,
my
cool.
understanding. So if you go into it thinking that, then you'll probably be okay.
Cool.
All right. So we talked about Thinner.
Thinner.
Good
That was
marriage.
23. A Good Marriage.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It's based on a short story. I've never heard of it. Okay. No Smoking. No idea. Cujo. I've read the book and
I've
watched
done
the
both.
movie, and they're both excellent.
I like
Yeah,
them.
I really like it.
It's 20 though. That's only halfway through the
Number
list.
20, yeah. This is halfway through, so you'd expect everything from here on out to be
Just-
really good.
Great. Like I've seen it and loved it.
Now, the next one I've heard of, but never
I've never
read
heard of it.
nor seen. It's called Hearts in Atlantis. No idea. It says it's a loose adaptation of a Dark Tower tie-in story.
Okay.
I don't know.
Loose adaptation. Loose is probably the key word there.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins though is in it.
Oh, really?
That should be pretty good.
And Anton Yelchin.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, Carrie. So this is the 2013
I have not
version.
seen this version.
I didn't even know they remade this.
I think I remember hearing about it and I didn't see it.
So it surprises me that it ranks this high, and I didn't know it existed, but
Maybe it's worth checking out then.
maybe.
It's bad when like Cujo is a good movie, and then you read the description they have for this Carrie remake, and it's like, yeah, they were being a little too conservative and didn't want to like go overboard, so don't expect much from it.
Huh.
Why
What?
is it?
Why is
kind
it
of
higher than
then?
Cujo then?
That doesn't make any
Because
sense.
Cujo is emotionally gripping.
Yeah, you're like riveted
You're
the whole
tense.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's stressful to watch.
Exactly.
which means it's good.
So Carrie's like the version if they take Cujo and made it a dachshund instead of a Saint Bernard.
Yeah, they took the teeth out
They
of it.
went a little conservative with it. It's not quite as scary or intense.
I read Carrie, and it was one of King's first books, and so it's still really good, but you can tell it's not in its prime. But
Right.
Secret Window, never heard of it.
Is that like a
Oh,
sequel to
I have
Secret
seen
Garden?
this one,
You have?
and it was a pretty good psychological thriller. It's probably been 10 years since I've seen it. It's probably when it came out in 2004.
There's Johnny Depp.
But yeah, it's Johnny Depp. He's a writer with writer's block. He's like in a
Okay.
cabin or something,
Oh,
trying to write a book, and it gets kind of dark and twisted. I'd recommend it.
Cool. Wow. And then jumping from that, 20 years previous,
Children of the Corn. I watched this just a couple months ago.
does it hold up?
It's okay. It's not as good as Cujo, though.
Yeah.
It was like bad acting, kind of obvious plot. It was, I enjoyed it, but definitely not the best. Well, I guess it's top 20 in this list, but yeah.
No, the remake of it didn't make the list.
Oh, they remade it?
Looks like it, 2009.
Huh.
Wow.
I didn't know that either. All right, the next one is Christine, which I've heard of,
I've
but
seen it.
never seen it or read it.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this one. I watched it within the last year.
1983.
It was, I don't know.
That was Year
It
by
was an
yourself.
old movie.
Okay. The Green Mile.
This is a good book, and
Yes.
I think I might even like the movie better. It was really good.
Oh,
It had what's his name in it? Really
Tom
big.
Hanks.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Hmm.
Which I liked him a lot, and in fact, he passed away not too long ago. He was in a TV show my wife and I really enjoyed, and it only had one season because he passed away.
Oh. So I've read the book, and the book is really good. I haven't seen the movie, but I would like to.
I would highly recommend it. This is probably in my top 20 movies.
Apt Pupil.
Apt Pupil is slightly better than it. This list says, but I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it either. It's got Ian McClellan in it.
It's funny that
He's
a lot of
Nazi
these that
war
I
criminal.
never.
Isn't that ironic
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird.
that he plays a Nazi war criminal when he was in the concentration camp next one?
Yeah, Magneto.
It's funny. He's played both sides. So,
He's a good actor.
yeah, the next one is The Mist, and I've read the book and seen the movie of this from 2007.
I've read other stories that are similar to this. I've not read this one.
I think the book's pretty good. It ends differently than the movie.
There's a TV show, I think it's on Amazon, that is The Mist, and it is a group of people stuck in a supermarket in a town in the mist. And there's some pretty awesome gory scenes in just the pilot. And the pilot was free, and then you had to pay for other ones, but I just watched the pilot. It was good.
Yeah, the movie was good, but I wouldn't say it was like one of the best Stephen King movies. I don't know. Would you put it ahead of The Green Mile?
No, definitely not.
Yeah, see,
I
this
think
list
The
is a
Green
little
Mile
suspect.
might be in the top 3 of this.
Yeah, I would think
of
so.
all of his
Right.
movies.
Okay, the next one is Dolores Claiborne, which I've never heard of. It sounds vaguely familiar, but if you had asked me what Dolores Claiborne was, I would never have guessed it was a Stephen King
I have
movie.
no idea what it is.
The Running Man. This
I've
is
seen that one.
from one of his Bachman books.
I was going to say I didn't realize it was a Stephen King.
I don't think I've ever seen this one.
You should check it out. It's pretty good.
It's pretty funny.
It's got Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
Yeah,
I knew that.
I watched
Well,
this one.
see, I heard a
recently.
Disaster
It's pretty
Artists episode about it.
Arnold.
And that made me want to watch it, but I haven't found it or looked for it. So
I'm sent for movie night.
now this next one, 1408, is I thought it was a really good one.
Is it scary?
It's humorous, so probably.
Okay.
I think people I've watched it with said it was scary. So yeah, I guess it's probably supposed to be scary.
Okay.
John Cusack is really good in it. It's about Shocking, a writer. He goes.
Weird. That's so right about writers.
He writes. It's about an author that writes books about haunted buildings, but he doesn't actually believe in ghosts.
Oh.
But he has to put on this persona. And
So it's not like me and Bigfoot writing about Bigfoot.
right.
It's the exact opposite of that.
But people will send him like, oh, you should check out this place, it's haunted. And so he goes to this hotel, and they're like, we never sent you anything. And he's like, well, I'm here because you told me to come check out your room. And they're like, we don't let anybody stay in that room. And he's like, well, I want to stay in that room. And they're like, no, nobody stays in that room. And he finally talks him into letting him stay there. And it gets pretty bizarre. So it was good. Very.
So I'll watch it while Minecraft. Got it.
No, you need to watch it with the lights on.
No, I'm not going to do that. I watched like Paranormal with like Saturday at noon, high noon with like lights, and then I still took breaks.
No, come on. You gotta up your game.
I have a good imagination, and it freaks me out later.
The funny thing is, I had this in like a binder with that the discs were in alphabetical order, and I was talking to someone over the phone, and they were trying to look through the binder, and they're like, so would it be in the F's or the O's? And I'm like, O's? How the heck?
1, 4.
They're like, yeah, it's 140. I'm like, no.
Numbers go in the front.
It would
there.
either be in the very front with the numbers or
Put the numbers in the back.
in the F's. I don't know.
That's
It
funny.
was funny. All right, so then there's the new It comes in at number 8.
Oh, that's the new one.
Yes, so it says, it's comparing it to the
No.
old one.
The
I haven't.
previews look scary to me. I haven't watched them like on my friend's computer at lunch, at work, and sure headphones, or whatever. It seems like if I was in a dark theater, that would scare me.
Okay, I've read the book, and the book is really good. It's one of the best Stephen King books I've ever read. And so, yeah, I will definitely see this movie. Stand By Me, I've read it and
I've not seen it or read it.
seen the movie. I saw the movie because it has Will Wheaton in it. And it's probably been in the last few years.
Yeah, I've already talking about
It's
it.
pretty good.
So I should watch it.
Yeah, you should definitely watch it.
It's on. I think it was on Netflix for a while. I'm not sure if it's still there.
Yeah, it has a lot of bad language in it. But it's about these teenage boys that go on they walk to go see a dead body.
Right.
Because I think the book is called The Body or something like that. So, the next one I have never heard of. It's called Creep Show.
See, I'm wondering if I hadn't seen this one also.
Was
at my
that?
friend's house.
Did we have Creep Show 2
Yeah.
earlier?
Show 2.
Okay, that's why I
That
was
was
like,
what
wait a
I'd
minute,
seen.
now it sounds familiar. This is from 1982,
Ted Danson in it and Leslie Nielsen.
and
It's gonna be awesome.
It's a horror anthology, so it's a bunch of different stories.
So it's like Cat's Eye. They did that one.
Right. Interesting. Saying this is better than
Creep House 2.
Stand By
Or Creep
Me
Show 2.
and It and
Green Mile.
Now you have to
Green
watch
Mile.
it. I mean, what you
Yeah.
should do is pick ones that are better than the ones you like and say, okay, let me prove me wrong.
well, I'm wondering if we should go watch the worst ones first
Let's do it.
rather than watching the best ones.
We should take like a group of, I don't know, 8 at a time, so there's 40. That's 5 groups. And watch it one out
do
of
a
a group.
marathon.
Well, just over time.
Oh, okay.
We could make it a homework we have to come and talk to us about it every week.
Yeah, we could maybe say, okay, next week we're going to talk about.
Group 5, or the last group, and then we'll just move on towards the best ones. And then the audience can participate with
Well,
us.
we're going to watch more than one a week. Or we're going to watch 5 a week. I don't even
No,
watch.
just pick one representative one out of that group.
Oh,
Not watch all of them.
see, I think I'd rather just start at 40 and take 40 weeks to do all of them.
That'd be fun too. We could do that.
Yeah.
It's almost a year, but yeah, we could do that. That's your homework, is to watch or try to watch.
If you can find, well, you can probably rent any of these on Amazon.
So if the ones we have to rent on Amazon, then we should do it together.
Right,
then one
so
of us
we're
rents
only
it.
paying. Yeah. I would definitely host this
Okay.
and pay for the rental, or maybe we could,
Split the
rotate
cost,
houses.
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, the next one is Misery. I don't think I've
Never
actually
heard
ever
of it.
seen this.
I've not watched it either.
You've never heard of it?
It's the one where the guy gets in the car accident. He's a writer.
Yeah.
Weird enough. And the lady that finds him is one of his biggest fans,
And she's crazy.
and she keeps him hostage, and she keeps him
Oh,
This is
hurting
the
him
one where she puts the block of wood between his
against the
ankles
sledgehammer.
and breaks his legs with the sledgehammer.
Okay, no, I've seen it. I did not.
Oh,
I
you've
guess
seen
I didn't
it?
know what it was called.
I don't think I've, but see, I don't think I've seen it, but I know that scene.
I think I have seen it.
Okay, I haven't read the book either. Number 4,
This one would be number 1 for me, I think,
The Shawshank Redemption.
because every time it's on TV, I have to watch from where I start till the end. It's really good. It's well done.
I have never seen it.
I don't know either. I'm not sure if I like this one better or I might like Green Mile.
Yeah, that's
I've
pretty
never
good.
read this one either.
But it even gets over my dislike for the main character, the main actor. I mean, which I can't think of his name right now.
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins, yes.
Huh.
I was very happy when he got killed by that in War of the Worlds. Wasn't that him that
I don't know.
got shoveled to death by Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Yeah. Tom
It says
Hanks.
Morgan Freeman in it.
It does.
Huh.
I mean, it's
This is a movie like I need to see this,
You
but
do.
I just never have.
iconic.
Okay. Number 3, The
Yeah.
Dead Zone. I've definitely heard of this.
This
But
one
I've
is
never
on
seen it.
Amazon right now, I think, on my Prime.
Yeah, it is.
Really?
So I might watch it now that I know it's Stephen King. I don't know what.
Well, you're gonna have to wait 37
Oh,
weeks.
no! Hopefully it's still
Hopefully
there.
it's still on there.
So what,
Christopher Walken.
I'm not going to make the joke.
I've seen some
It's too
episodes
soon.
of the TV show. I
Oh,
think I've
yeah.
read this one actually, and I think I remember liking it fairly well. All right, number 2, Carrie, the original 1976
I think
version.
I've seen this one.
I've read the book. The book was good. The movie was, it was pretty good for a 70s flick.
Yeah, I liked it.
So, I don't know if I'd put it in number 2 though.
Probably not. Look, he doesn't agree
Probably
with
top 10.
Wait, yeah, top 10. Probably around out of the top 5.
Yeah,
So-
maybe.
As we go through our watching, we're going to have to rank them based on our opinions, I guess.
Well, maybe we could give them like star ratings and then go back when we're done and see.
What we should do is each make our own spreadsheet where we secretly rank them as we go, and then we compare at the end.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
On the air,
Maybe we could
Producer.
have different categories that we rank them,
yeah, we can do that.
and then they'll come out with like a cumulative score at the end, and then that'll give us a better way.
Oh, yeah, so we'll have to come up with some kind of metric to grade them by.
Yeah, if anybody has any ideas, let us know.
Rubric.
Yeah.
Scoring rubric to go through.
Number 1, The Shining.
I
This
fell asleep
is-
watching this movie.
One that I've seen the movie.
I'm not seeing all of it because I fell asleep.
I can't remember if I've read the book. I don't think I've read the book. The movie is propped up by Jack Nicholson being so good in it. It's one that,
Yeah, Kubrick directed.
yeah, so it had really good cinematography, especially for, how old it is. It came out in 1980. And the script could have been better. Some of the other actors could have been better. But it's a good movie. I don't know that I would sit down and watch it again right now, because I've just watched it for the first time within the last couple of years. Maybe even within the last 6 months. I can't remember, but pretty good.
I've been wanting to watch The Shining again recently, but Charlie won't let me watch it with her here. She's like, "That's too scary."
Well,
Oh,
Yeah,
it's not
like,
scary.
in next
Well,
June or
it-
July, you can watch it when it comes up on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So tell her she's got that much time to build up the nerve. At that point, she's gonna have watched all the Stephen King movies with you, and this will be nothing.
Yeah, this is way less
Oh.
scary than like 1408
Yeah, this is no.
or even The Mist or something.
or the werewolf one.
Silver Bullet.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll
I
probably
know
be
that
able.
she has seen it and it scared her a lot, so she doesn't want to watch it.
When did she see it though? Like
Probably,
as an
no.
adult?
Last year.
probably not. Well, maybe.
Okay, because like
She doesn't do scary movies very well.
the first time I watched it, I was in high school and I was watching it with somebody that had seen it when she was a kid, and it still scared her. But to me, it wasn't scary at all.
So would she still be scared if she got to enjoy, let's say, a Mystery Science Theater type
Version.
viewing of it with the Enginerdy show host?
Well, I think she could probably be fine now because we watch a lot more. I've gotten her to watch a lot more horror movies. So
Uh-huh.
See if
I
you can
don't-
get her
I
to
doubt
watch
it
Event
would be
Horizon.
scarier than some of the other stuff we've watched.
Have you seen Event Horizon?
Like we watched It Follows.
Oh yeah, that was a good
That was
one.
pretty creepy.
It was pretty funny.
You're weird, man.
I didn't think that one was scary at all.
It wasn't really scary, but it was slightly disturbing.
Yeah, and it was intense.
What's
Yeah.
that Will Smith one with the vampires? I didn't like that movie at all.
Omega Man.
I did not like that movie
I
at
Am
all.
Legend. Yeah.
In
It
fact,
was
I went
good.
with my friend John, and we looked at each other partway through the movie. Neither one of us liked scary movies. And we kind of looked at each other like, why are we here?
Well, there's only a couple parts that were even kind of
There's like
scary.
a couple.
The part where he's hanging upside down in his own trap.
Oh, and the sun setting. That wasn't.
The part with the
Wasn't
dog.
To me, the scary part was when he had to chase the dog into the building.
Yeah, that was
Yes, that was
freaky.
the scariest part.
That was scary. That was a good. Well, I don't know if that was a decent book.
Have you seen the 70s version?
No, there's been 5 versions of
That one wasn't scary to me.
Okay, I wanted to see the Charlton Heston one,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Omega Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's alright.
All right. Any final thoughts on
I can't wait
the
to.
list?
We need to actually set this up and do it.
Okay, I'm gonna bookmark this.
So,
page.
what is the first?
The first one is
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive,
Nice. Alright.
1986.
Oh, and Stephen King is an actor in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
excellent.
Interesting.
So, our next segment is.
This might be hard to get together every week to watch a movie.
Well, we might have to watch some of them separate.
Yeah. Well, definitely if they're free somewhere,
Yeah.
we could watch them separate.
But
But
I've been looking up quite half of these on IMDb, and not very many of them have come up as saying they were on Amazon Prime.
okay.
Okay.
So, good luck.
Well, maybe some of these
This
really
is
bad
part-
ones will be
This will be part of the
on
fun.
YouTube or something.
Yeah, Maximum Overdrive is available for rent on Amazon.
Okay. Interesting. Well, and if we miss a week, we'll just,
Yeah. Pick up.
watch it the next week, and it could take us more than 40 weeks to do this. But it'll be fun, little segment.
I think I've seen Maximum Overdrive.
Really?
Like some screenshots.
Oh, that looks familiar
I thought we watched it on like TBS
as a
as
kid.
kids or something.
All right, that's Nerdiculture. For Technerdy, I have a question. Have you ever thought, man, I wish my clothes would just grow with me?
Yeah, you get stretchy like fabric pants.
So when you get put on a few pounds, you don't have to buy new clothes. Well, there's a guy named James Dyson, and he won this prize in the UK. Well, it's actually a worldwide thing, but he won the UK portion of it. It's for inventions by students, and what he invented was a line of children's clothes that grow with the kid. So it's something they can wear when they're like
It better be good fabric.
an infant that will grow with them up until they're like, I think it said until they were like 6 or something.
So you can buy a bigger set to go to 12.
Well, I don't know if it goes beyond that,
Oh.
but basically it was aimed at just reducing waste and stuff. So it's basically, yeah. So this says it expands to fit children from 6 to 36 months. So isn't 36 months only 3 years?
Yeah.
It's weird because somewhere else it said 6 years, but
Just saying we have limited resources on Earth, so we need to be clever about how we use them.
well,
This is kind of.
this is a student writing a paper, and he's actually
trying to sell it.
an aeronautical engineer, so not even a clothing or material science guy, but basically the material has a negative Poisson ratio, so as you stretch it in like one direction, it actually stretches in the other direction also.
Oh, okay.
So that it, normal materials, as you stretched it in one direction,
It gets
smaller, but this one is made in such a way that when you stretch it, it grows the other direction also. And it's made out of a durable material that will last years, so that you don't have to buy them new clothes every few months because they're growing so fast. And then his paper also said this will change young people's thinking about clothes because they grow up getting new clothes all the time, and so as adults they feel like they need to buy new clothes all the time. Supposedly, I don't have that.
I don't.
I was just telling somebody today they were
I
talking
do. I like
about
new T-shirts.
they were talking about seeing what kids wore to school on their first day of school, which just happened today for my kids. But they were like, well, what kind of stuff did you wear your first day of school? I was like, I think I just had hand-me-downs. I didn't get new clothes for, I didn't have special.
We got to go to
school
Goodwill
clothes.
and pick out 10 T-shirts from the T-shirt pile.
Oh, I don't even remember doing that.
Why you got the hand-me-down T-shirts?
I
We
just
didn't have.
had the hand-me-downs, and I
That's-
wore.
That's to the point my oldest son can get hand-me-ups.
Yeah. But it's kind of a cool thing. I mean, the fabric, he said he was inspired by solar panels and satellites. So, they solar panels on satellites, they have to be small to fit into the spacecraft that delivers them. But then the solar panels expand so that they have a large surface area. And so he's kind of built that into his clothes.
And apparently when you put it on a kid, their head goes on their body backwards.
It does look like the picture in this Wired article. This is
What the crap?
I always go to wired.co.uk because I like their website better than the US version. But the picture is a little girl, and she's like,
It could be a little boy.
yeah, the hair is kind of below the ears, so it looks like a girl to me.
Look, you grew up probably the 50s?
Well, it looks like a girl
All
to
of our
me.
kids can look like yours, DVD.
But the kid's bending backward at the waist, but then their head is still
Forward. Looks
So
weird.
it looks like their head is on backwards. But
Well, maybe they got the
Super
stretchiness in the
stretching
back
neck.
is a little too tight.
yeah.
It's like pulling their shoulders.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have chosen that picture because it's like, is it going to make my kid stand like that?
I hope not.
Maybe that's the only picture of the kid smiling.
I want to see a kid
Probably.
walking that for me. Like
But the sleeves are too short too. It's like, are they?
it's a T-shirt.
They need a.
Well, it goes like
Make that
Are you
halfway.
expecting a flood?
halfway up their forearm.
Oh, it's pants to do that.
Yeah, you don't call
Short sleeve
medium
shirts,
length
capri
You just
sleeves.
need to pull
Capri
on the
shirts.
sleeve a little bit, and it'll get longer and bigger around.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's short because they don't have very big around arms.
Don't just have our kids go naked. Then they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah. The material is hydrophobic and windproof, so it won't absorb water.
How do you clean it?
Well, it probably doesn't need cleaned as often because it won't.
Stuff
If
doesn't.
you sweat really bad, you just have a puddle next to your foot.
It just
Is
runs
it-
out the bottom.
Are you peeing your pants?
No, I'm
I'm
sweating.
sweating my pants. But besides, pee pants.
Yeah. So he won 2,000 pounds, and then if he wins the
Do we fit the clothes at 2,000 pounds? I'm not
no
sure.
British pounds, and then if he wins the international competition, he'll get 30,000 more, and he's going to use the money to, you know, expand his line and actually start the business, get the business going. You know,
Get better models.
yeah, get kids that know how to stand up straight.
I want to see all the different sizes of kids in it.
Yeah, that would be better if they had like
Progressive.
showed like a
The same
6-month-old
size
and a
outfit, but on
3-year-old
Yeah.
wearing the same size outfit.
Yeah, so it says it covers 7 sizes in one.
Yeah. Well, and then I guess they could go do another year range.
Yeah.
But and then for if they came
just
out
have
with
an
ones
adult
for
one.
adults, then you could
Just overeat your whole life.
if you lose weight, you just wear the same clothes, or if you gain weight, it doesn't matter. But they should have like an indicator, like if you get too big, it starts like showing red.
Changes colors. Yeah.
Like just a little bit of red is peeking out. You're like, I need to hit the treadmill.
You have like a translucent or a see-through panel, so it opens up too big. You start looking naked. You're like, oh, I gotta back up.
Well,
Yeah.
with the negative Poisson's ratio, if it got too big, then it would also get longer. So you just have like a scale at the bottom that has like a body
there you
mass
go.
It
index.
shows, yeah.
I didn't know that was a hoodie.
If
You
your
just got really big.
if your pant legs
It's
start
he started
dragging.
On his shorts. Pants.
This wasn't a V-neck. That was a hoodie. I didn't know you had a Holocaust cloak.
Yeah. All right, that's Technergy.
So in the news, they had a competition for the Hyperloop on
Oh,
SpaceX, and there was a German school that won the competition, and they got their Hyperloop vehicle up to 220 miles an hour,
cool.
or a short segment. The video is kind of fun because they have like their fake tunnel lamps or their
Mock-up.
mock-up. They have like lights every so often, so you can see them going past faster and faster. But some people are claiming that, in fact, the video I watched had a warning saying if you suffer from epilepsy, to be careful watching the video.
Right, because it
The
creates
strobe
a
light.
strobe effect.
Right.
Yeah.
It was really cool, but they have really good brakes too, because they stopped really quickly when they were to where they wanted to stop.
So wear your seatbelt.
That's right. And it sounds like India is actually going to try to get a Hyperloop.
That's cool.
And
Did you
oddly
see
enough,
the disclaimer
the
that they issued
No.
on that the actual one would not have the lights. They just did that
Right.
so they could measure
right,
how
Oh,
fast it
did
was
speed.
going.
So you
Well,
can tell.
yeah, you wouldn't want that happening while you're actually.
And in chin scratching news, the co-CEO of Amtrak doesn't think that the Hyperloop is a ready technology. He thinks that it's actually got some time before it's going to be viable.
Yeah, that's
It's like the guy that raises horses saying the automobile at Henry Ford is no, it's not time for that yet.
that's what AT&T was saying right before the
Right.
iPhone came out.
Exactly.
Well, so California passed the bond or whatever to put their high-speed rail in,
Oh,
and Charlie actually went to some presentation with a guy that was on. He worked for Caltrans and was working on that project. And so she was telling me about that, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. I was reading an article about what Elon Musk's opinion was on why he started Hyperloop idea of that California was going to put this high-speed train in, but it was slower than any other high-speed train in the world and more
Yeah.
expensive than the.
It's
Any
no,
other-
it's actually mislabeled. It's the high-ish speed.
Higher, high, not high, just higher.
But they're just talking about legalizing pot on the train. It's a high-speed train.
It's the high speed train.
There you go.
It goes a speed.
It goes.
It goes a speed.
But you don't care because you're high.
Yeah.
Yes, you're like, dude, look at that tree.
Occasionally they run it backwards just to screw with them. Dude, I feel like we're going so fast we're going backwards.
Well, then you just sell concessions and you make it take longer, so you sell more concessions.
That's awesome.
Nice.
But that's the news.
All right. If you want to.
Oh, I have some news.
Oh,
You have news?
okay.
Yeah, so it's probably could have gone in our banter, but we have a forest fire that broke out like
Oh, yeah.
35 miles from Portland.
Yeah, I heard about
We need to
that.
thank you guys for that because it's 10 degrees cooler here than it would have been otherwise.
Oh, nice. We're blocking out the sun.
That's right.
Well, there's
It's
fires up here.
a
too.
smokeler eclipse.
Yeah. You can look directly at the sun without hurting your eyes now
Yes,
because of
you
all the
can.
smoke. It looks really cool in the evening.
Yeah, so we woke up Tuesday to go to work, and we open up our windows and stuff at night to cool off the house,
Uh-huh.
and there was ash on the couch and on the floor.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
snowing ash here.
We're getting ash up here too.
I heard
Zimbabwe,
yours
it's
is
going a
from
long way.
a different fire that's over in the Cleellum area.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's a big one.
There's a guy from Seattle that was talking about it today at my office.
It's weird it reaches all the way to Zimbabwe.
yeah, that's the kind of jet stream we have going.
But yeah, the large river near Portland, the Columbia River, it's like, I don't know how wide that thing is. Half a mile wide.
Probably. Well, it
The
depends where
fire
you are.
was
But
so big and the wind was blowing it so strong that it jumped the river
Holy
into
cow.
Washington.
Yeah, I read a story about that. Saw a lot of pictures of it.
That's
stuff.
why we're going to
Crazy.
build a wall along our southern border.
They would call it Walla Walla.
It's also going to be called the Folsom Wall.
Yeah, it would Folsom Wall. So
No. Curse you, offspring. You've ruined my life.
some of them laughing.
Uh,
Well, higher the higher
yeah.
speed train.
All right, if you want to support the show, what we need you to do is tell a couple friends about the podcast. I shared podcast knowledge with my sister-in-law that was
Your
here last weekend.
sister-in-law.
My wife's sister, because I was editing the podcast on Sunday, and she's like, "What exactly is a podcast?" And I'm like, "What?"
Well, it's a video.
So I was like,
Go to
when a
YouTube.
bunch of whales go fishing, and she thought that was hilarious, of course.
We should make a T-shirt of whales fishing.
Yeah, listen to my podcast. That's a good idea. You should draw that.
Write it down. It's only gonna forget.
Okay. There.
Okay, that's good enough. Thank you, Charlie.
So I,
Oh,
It's still misspelled.
LinkedIn is
You logged in as Charlie?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay,
It's not really her doing that.
that makes more sense.
So then I explained to her, yeah, it's like a radio show that you download on your phone. I explained how she could get it.
We should make.
She didn't seem that interested.
We
in
should also
actually
make a T-shirt
downloading
that's podcast and then tells you what the acronym stands for.
it. People, audio,
wait, what?
That's spelled.
people oddly discussing cats and stuff today.
Current assembled stories.
We should make up several acronyms and put them on
Funny.
T-shirts.
Okay.
Another thing you can do is go to theengineerdyshow.com, click on the now working Amazon link to do your Amazon shopping. All the cool kids are doing it,
Yes. I'm doing it too, though.
and the nerds. All right, let's go on to consumption. I see that Master Zed has consumpted stuff.
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, I watched Kong Skull Island
Oh
this
yeah,
last week. I thought it was very good.
I love what's his
John
name?
C.
I
Riley.
thought Mace
Yes,
Windu was
John C. Riley.
Mace Windu was very angry
Yeah.
in that
He
movie.
is so good in that.
Yeah,
I
it
can't
was
tell
hilarious.
if I'm talking out loud.
It's so funny.
I can hear you. I'm gonna kill you tonight.
It's very good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's got
everything
everything good in it. Anyways.
Yeah.
Except for that
Samuel
helicopter
Jackson is
thing.
good. The monkey was good. The helicopters crashed, which they're supposed to do. It was a
Oh,
movie.
the final boss battle ending is awesome.
It's very good.
Everybody at my house when that happens, they're like, "Oh!" It was great. And then we rewound it and watched it again.
There's a little bit of the Transformers. How did you survive that in there? But
Yeah,
big monkey.
right.
The other consumption I have is I've been playing River City Ransom
Oh,
Greatest
yeah.
game of all
on the
time.
Nintendo.
Cool. I need to get that on my Wii.
I have it. It stands up.
My kid, I want to play that with my kids.
And you can save it by writing down this horribly long, complicated code.
So now
Is
that we
there
have
a better
smartphones,
save option
take
on the
a picture
Wii?
of it.
I don't know.
That's what I did.
Oh, you can take a picture of it now.
Oh, smart. Because if we did that, we could have to send
Oh
the
my
film away.
gosh, I remember
We've had this-
writing down those codes.
We got really good at differential letter writing. Because
Right.
if you got them too close to each other, you were hosed.
Is that a
Yeah, I was telling Charlie about that.
6 or a lowercase
I remember
b?
occasionally we try to change them slightly to see if we can get better stats.
Yeah. Try to hack it.
Yeah.
Did it work?
No.
Well, because I bet you could go online right now
And
and
probably find really
find
sweet ones.
some.
Yeah.
But that takes the fun out of it. Like, the fun part is going to the city, saving up your money, going to the cities and
And there's
everything.
just nothing out of video games where it's 2-player and your friend dies and you're rushing to get out of the screen so they
that
don't
he
lose half
doesn't
their
lose
money.
his money. Oh, man.
So good.
And then you get mad. Dude! Why didn't you get off the screen?
I know. It's
Sorry,
so
I
great.
got punched by Rocco.
I thought it was Biff.
Yeah, so I'm working on getting Charlie to play it with me. She was excited that
Do you like?
'cause I ordered it on eBay, so it just came in yesterday.
Nice.
So you're playing on your NES.
An actual Nintendo.
Nice.
system. Yes.
That's cool.
Because I can only play it on the Wii.
Yeah,
Controls
so
aren't as
there
good.
is better with I learned that adult hands
Yeah.
are not necessarily the correct size for Nintendo controllers.
Right.
Yeah.
My hands are like
They
crazy.
make that really big one.
Not quite big enough. Yeah, I need a bigger controller.
They have that big one with like a joystick
No?
with huge buttons.
Oh,
Quarter size.
that would be good.
Like a big thing you
But-
put in your lap.
Yeah.
But the other games we have were only one player, so
You should get the Power Glove.
Dude, the Olympics game with the mat would be so fun.
Oh, that'd be great.
all right. I'll be working on my NES game collection before
Cool.
you guys come down next.
I've playing Wii games with the Wiimote with sideways. My hands are way too big for that. Like, I can't
Difficult.
push. Like, the D-pad is hard to push one direction. You have to be, like, really careful. It's annoying. I want to get a better remote for that. Wiimote. Well, I took a page out of DVD's book and watched King Arthur's Sword of Legend.
I dig it.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite King
It
Arthur
was pretty
stories.
good. Some of they tried to be funny, and some of it was actually pretty funny. But sometimes I was like, okay, I could see they were trying to be funny, but it didn't work. But it's got good action. The plot is pretty good. Jude
It's actually
Law.
a unique story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not like the same King Arthur story, Jude Law is really good in it. I like Hunnan. What's his name? Charles?
Charlie
Charlie Hunnan.
Other than the Barbarian, I think.
I like him. He's good.
ripped.
He did a good job in that role too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good take on doing King Arthur, but doing it different.
I'm going to do a King Arthur in space.
Oh. We watched Inner Space with the kids, and it was funny because I was like, "There's Robert Picardo," and my wife's like, "Were we waiting for him or something?" I'm like, "He's the best part." But the scene where Martin Short looks like, where his character looks like the cowboy, and then, yeah, everybody was laughing hysterically. So good.
I should have another t-shirt idea. Email myself.
So that's a good
Speaking
one.
of Robert Picardo, I
It's,
watched Star Trek First Contact last night.
oh yeah, that's a good one. His scene is really good. He's like trying to stall the Borg.
It's like research has shown that Borg implants causes major skin irritation.
I could recommend a
Tell the
balm
world.
for that or something. Yeah, he's so good. Voyager would have been unwatchable without him.
I'm cracking myself up with this idea.
So watch Inner Space. It's on Netflix.
I can make a whole series of ones, such and such in space.
So I was balancing our checking account and saw a charge for our Disney movie club, and I was like, asking my wife, like, did you order something? Because it's like $45. And she's like, no, I didn't even see anything from them. So I was like, well, we're gonna get at least one movie, hopefully more than one for that price in the mail. Well, it came the other day, and it was Guardians of the Galaxy and Volume 2.
Oh, nice. I read the
So-
first one, I think.
We were actually excited because I hadn't seen the second one.
What?
Still haven't seen it. But we watched the first one last night,
It's good.
and it's really good. I like it.
I
This is
think I
probably
like the
the
first one better.
third or fourth time I've seen it. But now we're going to watch the second one this weekend, so
Nice.
cool. I'm excited for that.
Oh, it's my turn. I watched a movie called Death Note. It's a Netflix original.
Okay.
I'd heard from my kids they'd seen the cartoon, and so I thought I'd check it out. It was really good. I liked it a lot.
Is it a
It's got
cartoon?
Willem Dafoe in it. No, it's
No.
not.
Oh,
It's based on a
Based on the anime
manga.
or manga, I guess. So that's pretty good.
Anime.
Kid gets into his possession, a high school kid, a notebook that if you write someone's name in it, they die.
I saw an ad for it or
Yeah.
something.
You
Or
probably
it was
also maybe
it was
heard
on
about it
Net-
on the Bruin View podcast.
oh.
Maybe
Anyways,
talked about
it's good. You should watch it.
Okay, I will put that on my list.
And then, T-Video and I went and saw Wonder Woman finally. It's
Yeah.
still in the theater.
Is it good?
I thought we were going to have the theater to ourselves. Ended up being 3 different couples. I liked it. I thought it was really good.
I've heard it's good. I haven't seen it yet, but I
I
will
really
when it comes out on Redbox or something.
It was an upper tier superhero movie, especially
Okay.
for DC.
Yeah, DC movies haven't really always hit with
This
me.
is probably my favorite of the newer DC movies.
Okay, that's a
Considering I'd watched it again and I haven't watched any of the other ones twice.
it's a good review.
And then I watched 2 episodes of Death Note the cartoon.
Oh,
It's on Netflix. So you can go watch. They're a little bit different. The Netflix one's in the United States. The Death Note one is definitely in Japan.
Oh.
But very good. And then on Amazon they have some short episode, maybe 5 episode long series, like season 1, called Street Fighter Resurrection. It takes Ryu and Ken and some other characters from Street Fighter and puts them into a action movie. It's called Resurrection as far as I can tell, because Guile's mentor or master shows up at one point. It looks like he is stitched together like Frankenstein style or something. They're fighting against the bad guys. It's run by Bison, who's the main bad guy. So check that out if you want. It doesn't take very long to watch all of it. It's got some decent fight scenes in it.
Cool.
That I watched with my middle son. We watched Creed.
Oh, is that good?
It's very good.
Oh.
It's kind of got similar pacing to like a Rocky movie.
I
Maybe a
haven't
little bit
seen
faster
a
paced.
Rocky movie since I was a
It
kid.
made me want to go watch Rocky.
Okay.
It's really well done. Like everything I watched the Sylvester Stallone, I just like him in movies.
Yeah.
There's something real about him.
Over the top.
Overtop's one of my favorite movies. It's so good. It's
Well,
like a
you know
switch.
it's good if it's from the 80s and my kids like it.
And I'm quoting it still.
Yeah.
And then I watched, I'm reading actually a book while I go to sleep. I'm reading the Jason Huff novel 5, Escape Velocity.
Cool.
I finally got saved up enough on my Google to get it. I kept on thinking I had enough, but it was charging me tax. So I didn't have.
Oh.
So
The next one was even better.
wait, there's a 6.
Yes.
Wait, so there's 2 kind of similar ones in the same story arc. Is there a
Yes.
third one?
No, there's 2. Is this the second
This is
one?
the second one.
Oh, okay. This is the good one.
Yeah, I think
Well,
I like this one a little better than the last one. Last one was really good at setting up what is happening, but this is a good
yeah,
one.
exactly. It was like pretty much all set up for.
I mean, you can almost put them together and make a large novel, like a
Well, yeah, they were
a bigger book.
They were released a month apart,
Right.
so they were.
But I thought that was
written
good.
Together.
I'm willing to give Jason Huff extra money
Yes.
because I like his writing. I like his characters. And that's what I'm going to talk about.
All right. Thanks.
Football practice season, so I don't
Yeah.
have as much time to watch stuff as you can tell.
But your list is still way longer than ours.
I know.
I probably watched more stuff than that, but I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Oh, we're
I
actually gonna go
I've been
watch-
watching a TV series called Shameless on Netflix.
I think I've seen that.
Our sister Shayla recommended it to me while she was staying with us because she had one episode left, I think, when she stayed with us. And so she got up when we left for work one day and
Watched it.
watched it before she went out for the day.
Nice.
And so then we started watching it, and it definitely is the type of show that Charlie and I like. It's pretty. It's a real, like, the characters have flaws, and it's not safe for children by any means. So.
I've convinced TV, or she had seen the previews and wanted to see it, so we're probably going to go see The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Oh, somebody was telling me that was good.
So we're probably going to see that this week, maybe.
He was my brother-in-law.
Time permitting.
All right, let's go on to Nerd Cred.
So, as I mentioned last week, I was on a podcast with you guys, but I finished another podcast minutes before we started recording last week with Brad and Andrew on the Brew and View podcast.
Nice.
Nice.
So check them out if you haven't already. It was a good episode. TheSauceLounge.com. I put together a TIE Fighter Lego set on Monday.
Cool.
How many pieces is it? Do you remember?
No, I don't have a box anymore.
It came in one of those edible boxes,
Oh,
so you can snack while you're building.
I think I got it for Christmas last year, and I was just kind of hanging out Monday evening and was like, I was getting kind of antsy just sitting there, sitting watching TV for a couple hours. So I went and dug into our Lego box and found that one.
Are you a sorter or a big pile dumper?
It depends on the big sets that I do. I definitely sort first.
Because my son was appalled when he saw what I was doing. I was opening all the bags and just dumping them on the coffee table in front of me while I was watching TV with my wife.
Nice.
And he's like,
Well,
"What are you doing? You aren't sorting that?" I was like, "So I think we almost have. We're gonna buy the same Lego set and have a race."
Oh. See which method is better.
I told him I like watching a pile of like chaos being built into something that's not chaos.
Oh.
He's like, "Well, you gotta do that by sorting it first." I was like, "Eh."
well, I think I don't know. It depends on what I'm trying to get out of it. I guess. I don't know.
It's cathartic to
Dig through the
dig
pile.
through a pile,
Yeah.
trying to
see
find a
that.
specific piece.
So the TIE Fighter one I put together is 517 pieces.
Oh,
It's the
These are
First
more than
Order
mine.
Special Forces TIE Fighter.
I think mine is 450. People that are watching YouTube can see holding it up. Oh, its head moves around. It shoots missiles
Yeah, he
Mike,
shot
yeah.
me earlier.
pretty forcefully. It actually says several times in the directions not to aim at people's faces.
Yeah. Did you see the new Millennium Falcon Lego set that
Yes.
came out?
I want it, but it's like
It's
expensive.
$800.
Holy cow.
I can't afford
But
that.
it is
It better fly
It
for
flies,
that.
yeah. You get it.
500 pieces or something. It's the biggest set ever.
How many pieces did you say?
It
Like
was a
5,000
lot.
pieces
Yeah.
or something?
Wow. That would be cool.
7,000?
So, if
7,960.
if somebody wants to buy that for the podcast, we'll put it together
And then you can
put it on
fly,
YouTube.
and you can fly over. And you can put it together with us.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, if I got that, I would want to get the what's that other
Star Destroyer.
the Star Destroyer?
Yes.
That's like 50 inches long,
Yeah.
but you can't. It's not to buy it. You have to find it on eBay, and it's $500-600.
You just get the list of parts and buy the
It's
parts.
more expensive. I've done that.
Oh.
I may have priced it out.
I might build it in Minecraft
There you go.
based off Lego plans.
All the instructions are online.
Yeah.
You could build it in order.
Nice.
I was doing that to build the Statue of Liberty in Minecraft.
Good idea. Man, now I want to put Legos together. I think I might. We have the Tower Bridge
No?
that I might reassemble.
So yeah, I've been injured recently, and so I told my wife over at Walmart that I needed a toy, and so she let me get a toy.
So the last nerd cred I have is the Nintendo that I've been referencing. Got rejuvenated. It was Mom and Dad's old one that
Actually,
Mom found in their garage.
I think that was Leo and I bought that with our own money.
Well, what happened was
It's not yours anymore.
I know, that's fine.
some of us kids
I think we all went in on
saved
it.
up half of the price, and
Oh,
Mom
that's
and
what it
Dad
was.
paid the other half. So
Sounds like what they would do.
So did you find all the games for it?
So I think there's 8 games.
Because I might have more games I can give you.
Okay. Yeah, so I think there was 8 games. When I plugged it in to the TV, and one of the games tried to start,
Yeah.
and it was all glitchy looking on the screen.
did you blow in it?
So I
I think we ruined it with the Game Genie
I think
Well, you just have to
I
shove
don't
another
know.
cartridge in the top.
on top of it to keep it down.
so what I did is I took Q-tips and alcohol and cleaned all the games,
Yeah.
which is the correct way to clean them.
No,
And
you
then
blow
I
it
ended
in.
up I bought a new RF adapter because I've heard that those can go out and degrade the signal.
Yeah.
Ah.
And so sometimes that will be a problem. And then I also bought the pin connector for inside. So I took the Nintendo completely apart, pulled the connector off the motherboard, blew all the dust out of it, and put it back together with the new pin connector. And half of the games work now.
Cool.
Do you have Princess of Scheherazade?
No, that one in there. I have 2 copies of Back to the Future 2. Mike Tyson's Punch Out, World Cup Soccer.
These were ones that we had with the game the night we had it.
No, the Back to the Future I think is one I got.
Oh, okay.
There is, I think, there's Back to the Future, and then there's 2 copies of Back to the Future 2/3.
Yeah.
Is there Total Recall?
Yes, it doesn't
That
work.
game is so hard. Is
I
you
know,
like it?
you-
And
You wouldn't get ready for it.
is the other one that works.
Rambo? I don't think we had that one either.
Yeah,
I don't remember Rambo.
playing all those. And then I ordered River City Ransom on eBay,
Oh, I might
Nice.
have that one actually.
and it came. It was in beautiful condition, and I put it in and it fired right up.
Nice.
There's a place here locally that sells games.
Old games.
Yeah. That
Place
place
that's
over by
never-
Albertsons.
That's never
I actually
open
got in
when I
there.
go in there.
I almost pulled the trigger on buying a Jar Jar action figure for like cheap. It's the cheapest action figure they had. That'd be
Nice.
funny.
I need to go in there.
Speaking of buying games, there's a little. I think it's called the Time Vault Games downtown Portland, and it's in this really, really nasty looking building that's like just in a parking lot.
That's the best kind.
You would not even know that it was a store unless you knew to go like through this kind of creepy walkway that's all overgrown, and then there's a door set back like 15 feet through this like entryway, and you go in there and it's a game store, and they have a big room in the back, and they do like D&D
Oh,
and other card games. They have a calendar, a bunch of different games each night. But we bought the Battlestar Galactica cooperative board game.
Oh, I saw that in ours. I thought about getting it.
really? They had it?
I think so. Ours they have
Yeah.
set up like a bunch of like leather like recliner, like cheap recliners, but with their own personal like 32-inch televisions. I'll line up in a wall, so they can do online gaming
Oh,
sessions, and they also have board game nights and other things.
interesting. So you'll have to tell us if that BSG one is good.
Well, we're gonna have to come and play it with you and Mrs. Jimmy because
For
it's
sure.
3-player or 3 to 6-player.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because we love our Harry Potter game. In fact, one of my nerd creds is that on Monday I didn't have work, and our house guests left that morning, and we spent at least 6 hours playing Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle, and we had to like switch out which chairs we were sitting in because it was hurting. We're like, oh, let's trade chairs. So our kitchen table chairs are mix matched. We're like, oh yeah, this chair's hurting my butt. I gotta switch to a different chair. And then I've decided to be more social on my commute. So in the afternoons on my way home, I've only been wearing one earbud.
See,
Congratulations.
I rode the bus the last like month and a half for work, and
Peter Pants is cool.
I don't see what you. I don't know. I've never had someone talk to me
You look too scary.
It's probably because
where you work. There's
where
a lot of people that also work there.
those aren't the people that talk to me.
No.
It's like the people that all they do is ride the bus around town all day.
The societal rejects, I'd say.
And
Maybe it's because
people that are on work release
Yeah.
going to work at Burger King or something.
Hmm.
And then they're on their way back to juvie.
Or actual jail. I've seen that too.
Yes. Yeah, because
maybe the bus I ride is more just commuters.
yeah, probably.
So chatting with Mr. Pold, I got my phone out and calculated how many weeks I've been married, which is a lot. It's over 1,000.
Wow. Congratulations.
Sure. You should figure it out sometime.
Okay.
And then I got my Lego set, which was awesome.
Which I don't think you said what it was.
Oh, it's a ATST. It came with a.
That's why we were talking about those earlier.
It came with the Rebel action figure. It came with
Rebel
the
Scum.
Yep. Then it came with the Empirist. And then it came with the guy from Rogue One that has the big gun, like the big repeater gun. It's like one of the Jedi acolyte or Jedi Temple acolytes. I can't remember his name. That's fun. When the head rotates, you turn a little knob on the back, and the head moves back and forth. And then you can shoot missiles out. You can make sound effects.
Does the legs like articulate so you can walk?
Yeah, there's a spot where you can actually change the angle of the legs, but there's like 2 spots you can put it in so it won't fall over. Like it's standing upright right now, but you can make it bend down a little bit.
So I didn't do an exact calculation, but I've been married for about 750 weeks.
It's easy because my anniversary's coming up, so I just have to
Yeah, I'm
back
kind of in
subtract.
between. So I did 14 years and 15 years and took something in the middle.
So I've been married next month, 21 years.
Wow.
My
Whoa.
marriage can drink now. Guess
Well,
we vote 18.
yeah, we're coming up on 15 next spring.
I guess get your learner's permit.
Yeah. We've been together more than half our lives. So,
that's easy.
yeah. Well, it's big for us, you know. I was 16 when we had our first date. So, we passed halfway a few years ago.
Because you're old.
Yep. But yeah, we're right about having been married. No, I guess we're still not half our life, but yeah. Oh, we've been out of high school about half our lives.
There you go.
Which seems weird. 'Cause I still feel like a high schooler.
I'm glad I don't.
No, I don't. But anyways.
Middle school, now you're talking.
I don't remember middle school.
You don't? Maybe it's because I went to 3 different middle schools.
Middle school was traumatizing for most of it for me. That was when we lived in California, and
California.
it was a big culture shock, and I
dug the culture.
I did not like it. It was very stressful. So, our only feedback this week was we got an email saying that LFG's email address did not work.
No, he's out of the office.
No, it was different than that.
Oh, was it?
Last time it was out of office. This time it was a Gmail account.
Oh yeah, he sent me a
and it was saying that email account didn't exist or something. So he either typed it in wrong or he gave it to you wrong.
Okay, I'll have to try that again. I was trying to send out my Enginerdy letter, which has lots of cool.
I was showing the pictures to my wife, and she was like, "Oh, that's awesome."
It's like my character I made. It's like
that's the first thing I showed her. I was like,
maybe
"Oh,
I should
look,
make it clean shaven."
or DVD made an avatar for himself," and she kind of thought that was pretty nerdy.
It is. Well,
and I was showing her the other pictures. She's like, "Oh, that's cool."
I had my youngest showing me how to do that.
Yeah.
He's very helpful. He was making fun of my skills, though. He thought I should do things differently.
If you want to contact us, our email is enginerdyshow@gmail.com. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Just search up Enginerdy Show on those. And, spread the word. If you like the show, your friends and loved ones will probably like it too.